you go with Jackson?
Spider-Man.
I can totally see that. Yeah, I guess you're right in that, but that's not how he plays. He plays much bigger than Spider-Man. Iron Man. If it was like, because didn't Tony Stark like take Spider-Man under his wing? Didn't he give him like his? If like you could have a baby between Iron Man and Spider-Man, it would be Jackson Merrill. Does that make sense?
Huge. Can't wait for my boy to be back, to be running the outfield together, and and hopefully he can get back at full strength.
Good morning, everybody. Happy Friday. Welcome to Marty Time TV. I am Marty Caswell. We made it to the weekend. It was the longest week ever, and there's no better way to go ahead and jump into the weekend and get ready for Padres and Rockies and welcoming a familiar face to all you Padre fans, and that's our friend Matty Vasgersian from MLB Network. Good morning, Matty. Good morning, good afternoon. How are you today?
Yeah, hi, Marty. Good to see you. I'm great. We got a little rain here in northern New Jersey today, unlike the 72 and mild perennial San Diego conditions, but that's what we signed up for here apparently, so I can't complain.
Yes, I think it's going to be like 75. It's like perfect San Diego weather today. So I am excited for it.
Of course.
I haven't even checked Coors Field. Maybe if it's raining, maybe it's a good thing because the Padres seem to play well when there's rain delays. But anyways, I had meant to, before I get into the Padres, take me to your background. Usually I talk to people, they have the bookcases, they have bobbleheads. What's your collection behind you? What do you have going on?
There's nothing strategic back there. In fact, I think I probably could have cleaned it up a little bit. I think I have a pair of socks back there, as a matter of fact. I have a participant tennis trophy back there. Actually, it was a first place trophy, but everybody dropped out. So by attrition, I won. This is my David Ortiz hand puppet. I call him Big Poppet.
Nice.
Angels banner, A's banner, some bats that are no value at all. They're not signed by anybody. They're not major league bats. They're just pretty. And that's it. I wish I had a better story for you back there. Oh, I got some artwork too from my kid.
Okay.
Which, that's up there, and some unopened baseball cards. It's a little messy.
Baseball cards. Do kids still collect baseball cards? Is that still a thing? I mean, you can't buy baseball cards like a 7-Eleven, which is where I used to collect my baseball cards from, right? The Don Russ, whatever they had going on.
Right. Marty, $25 a pack now. Kid you not, It's a whole different thing. So kids don't collect them anymore. My son likes them, but he doesn't like them the way my generation liked them. Like for us, it was you had to get the whole, collection.
Yes.
You played with them, you looked at them, all that stuff. Now they open it. If they get the Paul Skeens card with the uniform piece on it, great. If not, they might buy another pack. They might not. Honestly, like basketball, football, baseball cards, you can spend $25 a pack on those things now. I refuse to broker in that.
Wait, do they have bubble gum? Can you
No.
No?
No, that would be another $15 if they had the stale bubble gum in there.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Well, as you can tell, we're talking to Matt Vasgersian from MLB Network. We are brought to you by the all-new Hamul Casino Resort, the Players Place. All right, Matty V, I had originally planned to have you on to talk about the very exciting Padres and Yankees series and what to expect. Those games were exciting. They could have gone either way for the Padres. I mean, they had uncharacteristic bullpen failures in back-to-back games. But what did you come away with when you watched the Padres those 3 days?
Yeah, I mean, we were on the air for 2 of those with MLB Network. So, and then I watched the second game at home. First of all, Jackson Merrill is an absolute pleasure to watch play baseball. My God. I mean, the confidence, the swing. I thought it was ironic that Trent Grisham did what he did, especially the 2-run pinch hit homer. By the way, I should have forwarded you. I did a split screen between him and Jim Croce. That doesn't land on many people south of the age of 45, but it's an unmistakable likeness now because he's got the curly mustache.
Yes.
And he, when you contrast left-handed swings, and if we had another game to do, I would have put this together. Like Jackson Merrill, pure, smooth, beautiful, Will Clark-ish, like effortless, classic left-handed swing. Trent Grisham, 4 years in San Diego, Padres know him well. Struggled last year with the Yankees. He's got the weirdest left-handed swing. It's almost as though he abbreviates it and stops it before he finishes. But he's going to the All-Star game this year. This dude's got 10 homers.
Incredible.
I'm not about to suggest it was a bad trade for the Padres because it got them Juan Soto and it got them going. Anyway, here's another takeaway.
Okay.
Manny Machado is everything that they say he is. He's just he leads. His defense is effortless. he is the consummate RBI guy. I feel like when he makes an out, and on the rare occasion he doesn't come through at the plate, he still knew what he wanted to do, and he just missed. So if that, I consider that a big compliment, because a lot of guys just don't have a clue. I feel like he has a clue at every moment of the game. He knows what's going on. The idea that the Yankees beat the Padres bullpen twice is astounding to me. The idea that Devin Williams hung on in Game 3 is astounding to me, after hitting a guy and walking a guy and then having bases loaded. Here's another thing that's astounding to me, and I was there doing the games with Mud the first time the Yankees ever hosted the Padres in 2004.
Wow.
And this was a Yankee team at the peak of their powers. The Yankees have beaten the Padres in every single series they've played head-to-head in the Bronx. I really thought after the Pods snatched them back and took Game 1 on Monday, this was going to be the year that the Padres finally win a series in New York. I really thought that. The curse goes back, and you remember this as well as I do, Marty. The curse goes back to 98 in the World Series, Game 1 of the World Series that year.
Yep.
That terrible Richie Garcia call. The 2-2 call that was a absolute, like, you could not cut a strike in the middle of the plate any better than what Mark Langston delivered to strike out Tino Martinez. Instead, 3-2, next pitch grand slam. And I contend this: the core four may have never gotten started if that pitch was called properly. The Padres win Game 1, and then it's a whole different thing. Instead, they got swept on that one micro moment. So that's where the curse in New York began for the San Diego Padres. I thought this was the year it would be broken. We'll have to wait another year.
I did too. It's so rare that when the Padres take a lead, a small lead, the bullpen has been so good that you think, all right, this game is over. They're going to go ahead and find a way to shut down. I mean, Jason Adam, Estrada, who could be a closer for a lot of teams, and Robert Suarez have been lights out. I want to take you back to a different Padres trio. That would be, let's see, Akinori Otsuka, Scott Linebrink, and Trevor Hoffman.
Yeah.
But these guys, in many ways, they've been better. They have been one of the best bullpens in baseball, even with that hiccup against the Yankees in back-to-back games. And the extra inning thing is a little bit different, of course. But even with that hiccup, they have the lowest ERA in baseball, which is extraordinary to me.
Right. It is. It really is. It's legit, too. I mean, what the Padres have, and here's another thing, they get the game to the bullpen in way better shape than so many teams because their starting staff is that good. Cease was unbelievable on Wednesday. Yeah. The idea that he had the no-hitter hot and somehow the Padres didn't win that game is not so fun to think about if you're a Padre fan. But the rotation is so good. As well as I do, Marty, watching as much baseball as you do, there aren't many rotations that are that deep once you get through the first 2 or 3. I'll even compare it to the Yankees. Without Garrett Cole, they go too deep to scare you, right? Rodon's been really good this year, and Fried has been unbelievable.
Yeah.
After that, right? Okay, maybe. And there aren't many teams, even the Dodgers, for all their riches, they can't keep anybody healthy in the rotation long enough to line them up in back-to-back starts. So what the Padres have is special. It's going to bode well down the stretch. I mean, there's no question in my mind this is not only a postseason team, but a team that could make a very deep run and maybe even do the unthinkable and slay that Dodger dragon again as they did in 2023.
It's so funny you're talking about, I thought this was the year they'd finally go ahead and win that first series, against the Yankees, and they were so close to doing that. And the thing with the Dodgers, right, because they kind of, as Peter Sutherland would say, they slayed that dragon a couple of years ago. They showed, and those guys in that clubhouse know they can beat the Dodgers. That's something that these current players, Machado and Tatis, took away, is that intimidation factor is gone. And you're talking about, I know Clayton Kershaw is close to making a return to the Dodgers. Hopefully the Padres are close to getting Yu Darvish back as well. But that leads me to my next question. In which way, where are the Padres where are they better than the Dodgers? I mean, it's easy to look at that roster, and the Dodgers can outspend anybody. You can talk about how much they spent this offseason, but what have we learned so far about where the Padres are better than the Dodgers?
I think because the Dodgers have so many starters, they've been able to get away with the fact that they can only pitch Yoshinobu once a week. They can only pitch Roki Sasaki once a week. Kershaw hurt, Glasnow on and off the IL.
Yeah. So
they can get away with that to a degree, but that second tier of guy who's really good, Ben Kasparius, Landon Knack, those are good arms that anybody would love to have. it's hard for them to get any traction because, Ben Kasparius, he's in the rotation one week. The next week, he's a long guy. The next week, he's a bulk guy because the opener goes in inning. So what they're being asked to do, those guys, is preventing them from being as good as they can be, I believe. The Padres have 5 guys you roll out there every week.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give a rotation edge to the Padres. I'll give a bullpen edge to the Padres. That's not such a hot take either. As far as the lineups are concerned, you're going to have a hard time lining up everybody against the Dodgers and saying that Team B is better. As good as that group is on your screen right now,
Mm-hmm.
as good as they are, the idea that they roll with Ohtani, Betts, and Freeman, and before last season, when they all became teammates as one-time MVPs, there had been a total of 6 games played in Major League history where the first 3 batters in the lineup were all former MVPs. That's an all-star team. And now, if they're all healthy, they have a chance to play to get, line that up 120 times a year. So it's tough to say that anybody's lineup is better than LA's.
Mm-hmm.
But look, even in a 7-game series, I'm not saying like the Padres could catch them in a short series because anything can happen. No, I think they line up with them in a 7-game series even better because they have more pitching.
That's now we've spent this time talking about the Padres, the good factor, Jackson Merrill, Manny Machado, just living up to that contract at this point, the depth of the starting rotation, the bullpen, and we haven't even gotten to Fernando Tatis. We're almost 12 minutes in, and we haven't even mentioned Fernando Tatis Jr. What is he showing to people this year? He said at FanFest that when I am healthy and when my head is in the right place, there is no better player in baseball. I saw an interview that Juan Soto did this offseason saying there is no better player in baseball. When it comes to the complete package, the complete skill set, there's no one better than Tatis. What are you seeing from this player at this point?
I mean, I love that statement, right? Because isn't that what you want as a team? You want your guy thinking he's the best player to ever live. And the athleticism that he displays nightly is just off the charts. And to think, the guy's made the move from shortstop to right field and become a platinum glover. Everybody thought he'd be okay out there. There were some skeptics, I guess, because anytime you change positions from what you've played your whole life, there's going to be some skepticism. But I mean, he just makes it look so doggone easy. It's unbelievable. He's a rhythm hitter. He did not have a particularly good start to the road trip the Padres are off to. I think 3 for 21 or 3 for 22 through the first 2 cities, Pittsburgh and New York. So he's a rhythm hitter. There's a little imbalance right now, and I get it, small sample size. His home numbers are astronomically better than what he's done on the road this year. I suspect that by September, even by July, those will even out. It's just the athleticism he plays with and the confidence, the bravado, the swag.
Yeah.
And nobody can get mad at it because he backs it up. If you have that kind of cockiness and you're not that great, it's a little douchey. But he is the genuine article, that guy.
You can't take your eyes off that player. It's an absolute joy to watch. We're talking to Matt Vasgersian, our friend from MLB Network. Now, you mentioned Mud a couple times in this interview. Did you get a chance to go ahead and hang out with him and give him the business when you guys were in New York together at Yankee Stadium?
Didn't. I had every intention of getting into the city one day so we could have breakfast or lunch and actually socialize and spend some time together. But Mud's road protocol is he's in the rack until about 2:00 in the afternoon. The time change is tough, but even if this series was in Seattle in the Pacific time zone, he'd have been in bed till 2:00.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, I just we talk all the time. We probably talk on the phone 5-6 times a week, and I don't want okay, bye. Say goodbye to my wife, and I have to whisper this part of it. But you know how you have your favorites on your cell phone?
Oh, yes.
Right? And they're like home, mom and dad. Like Mud is my second favorite over my wife because I call him more frequently than I call my wife. She just left, so I could say that. It's okay.
Don't worry, no one will ever see this. Mud is your favorite. You wanted to know this?
He's not my favorite. Don't get me wrong. Like, he drives me mad sometimes.
Right.
But I call him so frequently that the phone puts him number 2 on my favorites list because I'm always calling him. If anything, just to leave him a stupid message and tell him he's an idiot, and he does it right back to me.
Do you FaceTime, Matt, or do you actually
No.
use the phone to call? People use
No.
their phones to call, make
Yeah,
conversations?
no, you kids do all the FaceTimes. Anybody at my stage of life, 57 going on 90,
Mhm.
we still make the phone call. If I had a dial-up phone in my house, I would still use that.
Me too. I would use a rotary. I would use a rotary for that. And you're okay, Maddie. I'm all over the place with you right now. And thank you so much for your time today. I really, really appreciate it. You're on Instagram now, right? Does your 10-year-old trying to help you with that? Does he help you navigate Instagram? Who's helping you with this?
Nobody, by virtue of the infrequent posts. I'm more of a looker than I am a poster. And I don't know. I can't get behind the commitment. I'm not 100% in on posting all the time to grow your followers or do whatever it is we're supposed to do. I also kind of, I don't know, part of me really dislikes the idea that your value as an employee, whether you're a play-by-play person or an analyst or a scout or whoever you are, is based on how many followers you have.
Right.
Because you show me somebody with great followers, that's good with a big number. I want to hear how you are on the air. I want to hear how you perform whatever job you're supposed to be performing. So many of our colleagues in this business, Marty, you probably see it too. As soon as the half inning is over, they go right to the phone to X to see if their name is there. They mine for their name all the time. What are they saying about me? Oh, this guy liked what I just said. I'll give him a shout out. I just refuse. I'm worried about the fans in general and my bosses. I'm not gonna play that game. That having been said, I don't want to sound like I'm a hater. I mean, I enjoy being on Instagram. I just can't get as involved in it as I think I probably should.
No, I get it. It can drive you absolutely crazy. So I get it. I will tell you this, or after this interview is done and I post it later on, I will be checking to see how many likes and retweets that you get on your Instagram profile when I tag you in this.
I did, by the way, I did put the split screen between Jim Croce and Trent Grisham up there for anybody that wants to get on there and see it.
Goodness. Okay. I can't, the Trent Grisham thing. Okay. A couple more things, Maddie, before we have to wrap this thing up. Let's see. So the Padres play the Angels next week. And unfortunately, we're not going to see Mike Trout at Petco Park. I don't believe we are, because he's back on the IL, which is just so unfortunate, because if it weren't for the injuries, we'd be talking about one of the greatest players that ever lived. And I feel like we've barely seen what which is crazy to think, because the guy's a 3-time MVP, right? Three times.
Yeah.
And he's spending the rest of it feels like the majority of his career is on the injured list. And he's limping to the finish line. How will we remember Mike Trout when this all is said and done?
I don't think the recent sample size is how we'll remember him. I think we'll remember him as that super dynamic guy who was the best player in the sport for about a decade. Yeah. 3 MVPs. He's already completed the Hall of Fame resume without any question. The injuries have been unfortunate. It's been a variety of things, some of them nagging, some of them really serious. And it stinks. It stinks for Angels fans. It stinks for Mike. I think, he's very aware of the narrative around him that he can't stay on the field. It's not for lack of effort. My God, this guy does everything he can to get out there. It's just one of the unfortunate parts of, how they say nothing good happens after 1 a.m. Well, sometimes if you're a pro athlete, nothing good happens after the age of 32. And Mike's kind of living that right now. But I still think that, there's optimism around his playing more in 2025, than he has before. Because he was on a great pace, man. He was a home run leader for a while. He still hits for power, and he's still fun to watch.
Well, hopefully he can end it on a positive note. Just a bummer we won't see him at Petco Park next week when the Angels are in town. Padres and Rockies. I saw Jeff Sanders of the UT wrote a thing about 30 years at Coors Field. Matt Vasgersian, do you have a favorite memory? Maybe not necessarily good or bad, but what's the everlasting memory Padres at Coors Field, if you can dig way down?
I know that you're thinking the same thing. It's Matt Holliday never touching home plate in that play-in game. Like, that season was the most ridiculous. That it was 07. I'll never forget that final series in Milwaukee, where the Padres have to win one game.
Oh my goodness.
And the weirdness with Tony Gwynn Jr. tripling against Trevor Hoffman, you can't script that. The son of a franchise icon against the 1A of franchise icons, and it keeps the Pods out of the postseason. So then they got to go to Denver. Everybody's out of gas. Scott Hairston did his part, if you'll recall. He was a beast in that game and down the stretch. And, you know, whether or not Matt Holliday ever got to home plate, I think is moot because, as I recall, there was nobody out in the inning.
Mm-hmm.
And Trevor was on fumes that day because of all the work down the stretch. That's the first thing that I think of. They also had a crazy opening day there, and I think 05. And I want to say it was Peavy that started. That was one of these Coors Field specials with, 28 hits and, 17 runs combined.
Mm-hmm.
I forget the details, but, those stand out.
Okay, let's see. Okay, well, you're right. That's the Matt Holliday game. Actually, you're reminding me. I saw Matt Holliday at Padres spring training a couple of years ago because he was a friend of, he and Bob Melvin were tight, his former manager with the A's. And I asked him that question, so I need to go ahead and bring back that video. And now his kid's playing baseball for the Orioles. So, man, it's just strange.
It's strange, I know. And Matt Holliday is one of the absolute good dudes in our sport. And I'm sure people have mentioned it to him before. He has no problem telling you to shut up if you say that to him either, because they went to the World Series that year, the Rocks.
Yeah, they did. Okay, Maddie, one more thing, because I'm going to show you my background really, really quick, because hang on 1 second. It's really, really boring.
All right, wait.
Okay, there's my section 50. That is my section 51 sign from Jack Murphy Stadium, because I always sat. Yeah, I always sat in section 51 in right field so I can watch Tony Gwynn do his normal thing, five hits and not strike out. But I also have.
Wait, is that the actual sign, or did you have that made on Etsy?
No. That's the actual sign. That's the
cool.
actual sign from section 51. Got that when they tore that place down, and But I also have this picture. All right, I've been bugging you for my brother-in-law for a black and white signed autograph picture, and since he's never going to get that, I just want to show you this
who
picture.
Is that? Steve Quiss?
Steve Quiss.
Who is that?
It's my brother-in-law. His name is Jack Berry, and I'm not even joking, he's been pestering me to have you sign him an autograph. He has two obsessions in life: Bill Murray and Matt Vasgersian. And all he wants is an autographed black and white picture of Matt Vasgersian. Since I can't do that, I thought I'd just go ahead and do something else and do like an online shout out. So there you go, Jack Berry.
Big discrepancy in talent, by the way. Shout out to Jack Berry, who looks a lot like Steve Quiss.
Oh, wow.
We'll get that picture signed shortly.
We'll do that. You're the best, Maddie. Hey, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. All the best. And when you talk to Mud in 5 minutes, wake him up. Wake him up, because it's 11. Yeah, I gotta wake him up.
He's in deep REM right now. But I will call him and wake him up, and I'll tell him he's a clown, and then I'll hang up again.
Awesome, that's fantastic. All right, Maddie, have a great weekend. We'll talk to you soon.
Marty.
I hope
you got it. See ya.
See ya. All right, guys, that was Matt Vasgersian, our friend from MLB Network. He's been outstanding to deal with all these years. Guys, thank you so much for your time. Padres at Colorado. I'm looking forward to these wild 11-10 games. Hopefully the Padres pitching staff comes out of this unscathed. We'll talk to you on Monday. The Padres return home after the longest road trip of their season, 3 with Colorado. Then they come back with the Angels and the Mariners. I forgot to ask Matt Vasgersian about what we're going to hear about come next Friday. That's, of course, the Vetter Cup and the fact that they have a sponsorship now. So that'll be fun. We'll talk to you guys on Monday, AJ Cassavell on Tuesday. Hopefully it's a great weekend. The weather is going to be fantastic. I am on my way right now to go ahead and supervise a field trip of first graders. I have to change my outfit because my nephew told me to wear something better. So there we go. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. We are brought to you by the all-new Hamul Casino Resort, the Players Place. Have a great weekend, and I will talk to you on Monday. Bye.
Just winning some ball games, man. We're back to ourselves. Obviously we got some help, and we got some healthy guys back in the lineup that made it a lot better. But our pitching staff did a really good job, man. And offensively, we hit with runners in scoring position. Like I said last weekend, we didn't take advantage of those spots. We had opportunities to score some runs, and we didn't. We didn't do it. And we made an adjustment this series, and we came out with 2 victories.
The adjustment, and Jason Hayward. The adjustment with runners in scoring position.
I mean, I think it was just we felt lonely out there. We missed our guys. And we missed them in the clubhouse. They were gone for a whole week, and we just felt empty. And they were back, so they're a big part of our ball club, and they bring a lot of energy.